Anyone who has travelled on a plane knows the discomfort of being confined to a narrow seat for hours on end. For me, that experience became a way to explore perspective, privilege, and how much we take for granted in everyday life. This inspired a short poem I wrote called Legroom. 13 hours, middle seat. I can barely feel my feet. The cabin roars, my head rests low, these legs just have nowhere to go. Get me off this ride of doom. All I want is some leg room. 13 hours, boredom's real. No service is a huge ordeal. Legs piled on legs like logs and sticks, set alight by whines and kicks. With senseless toes and sensing doom, all I want is some leg room. 13 hours, try 13 years. Can't use his feet, still perseveres. Confined to dark mud walls, the plight. His roof, a pathway to the night. My simple wants yield to his gloom. All he wants, a leg, a room. I wrote that poem about how my outlook on life changed after travelling to Matisi, an isolated and impoverished community in Western Kenya. I volunteered as part of an immersion programme with 12 other students and 3 teachers. Matisi is a world away from Ireland. The roads are rough, the houses are often made from metal sheets or mud, and poverty is visible around every corner. However, that is only what you see on the surface. What struck me most during my time there was not the hardship. It was the strength, the warmth, and the unbelievable resilience and kindness of the people who welcomed us in. During our time, we stayed with the Daughters of Charity, an extraordinary group of sisters who have devoted their lives to serving the people around them. These women are not just caretakers, they are heroes. They tend to the sick and injured, support families who have nothing, and run a street boy centre where homeless children are fed, educated, protected, and given the chance to just be children for a short while. At the centre, I met a boy named Gordon. He was the same age as me, and the second we found out that we both loved basketball, a friendship formed instantly. We didn't share a language, but that didn't matter. Laughing, playing cards, and teaching each other small things, it felt as if I was looking at a mirror image of myself. But when our time together ended, I walked back to a safe house and a warm bed, and he walked back out onto the streets. Because the truth is, there are millions of kids just like Gordon, kids just like me, and millions of people like all of you all across the world. They have the same dreams, the same talents, the same kindness, the same intelligence. The only difference is that we sit here today safely, and they fight for survival every single day. While in Matisi, we worked primarily in a school, teaching children aged 5 to 15. We taught maths, English, science, and much more. They showed us traditional Kenyan dances, and of course we returned the favour with our finest Irish dancing, which they found hilarious. Our main goal was to speak as much English as possible while teaching. Some children were practically fluent, while others struggled. So when the teachers told us that the students' English noticeably improved while we were there, that meant everything to us. The children in the school came from incredibly difficult circumstances, some even being former street boys who were given the chance of education through donations to the Vincentian lay missionaries. Without that support, school simply would not exist for these children. We also travelled deep into the slum areas, where we met people battling with illness, injury, and abuse. One home we visited belonged to a woman named Gladys and her family. They all lived together in a tiny mud house. Gladys and her siblings suffer from sickle cell anemia, a condition that is easily treatable here in Ireland, but Gladys suffered terribly, due to not only the lack of healthcare, but also because she was 5 months pregnant at the time. Her family struggled desperately to pay their rent, a monthly rent which costed them the equivalent of €6. And yet here in Ireland, many of us spend nearly €6 a day on a cup of coffee without even thinking about it. Something so small for us could provide weeks of safety and shelter for them. The generous donations we received during our fundraising not only helped us reach our destination, but more importantly, they helped us exceed our initial fundraising target by €27,000. That extra funding has built a new science lab and toilet block in the school, funded business startups in the community, built 8 houses, and contributed towards building a new centre for the street boys. The motto of the VLM is do one thing, do something. It's not about doing everything or solving every problem. It's about noticing what is in front of us and responding in a way that we can. That response will look different for each person. Giving financially, giving time, praying, or even raising awareness. I began this reflection with a poem I wrote after a community visit in Matisi. Seeing a young man who had lost his leg and was living in a tiny mud house made me realize how much we all overlook. Safe homes, food, freedom, and simple comforts. My journey started with the small frustration of sitting in the middle seat on a plane, but it ended up opening my eyes to what it means to notice inequality and hardship. Sometimes, the things that make us uncomfortable are the clearest windows into the world around us. It reminds us that the lives we live are not universal, and that what we take for granted is a luxury others cannot afford. And maybe that's the hardest part. Realizing that simply noticing is not enough. That seeing is only the first step. It's the action that truly counts.